Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Padakari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Padakari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Padakari Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Thira Panachari Yamuna Thira Panachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Padakari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Padakari Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Thira Panachari Yamuna Thira Panachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Astotar Sutta Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Astotar Sutta Sri Srimad शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की जय। गंगामयी की जय। यमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। गौ प्रेमानंदी। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। कथे राजनि साधीरे छात्र स्मारुदथि पितु। या वेदया तथा सर्वम् उक्तं सार्मिष्ठया कृतम्। कथे राजनि साधीरे छात्र स्मारुदथि पितु। न वेदयत् तथा सर्वम् उक्तं सर्वनिष्ठया कृतम्। कथे राजनि साधीरे छात्र स्मारुदथि पितु। य वेदयत् तथा सर्वम् उक्तं सर्वनिष्ठया कृतम्।
Radha
Rajani. After the departure of the king, Sa Shi Devayani Dhire learned Tatra Sma returning to her home, Urudati crying, Pitu before her father, Nyavedayat submitted, Tata thereafter, Sarvam all, Uktam mentioned, Sarmishtaya by Sarmishta, Kritam done. Hare Krishna. Thereafter, when the learned king returned to his palace, Devayani returned home crying and told her father, Shukracharya, about all that had happened because of Sharmishta. She told how she had been thrown into the well, but was saved by the king. Durmana Bhagavan Kavya Porohityam Vagarhayan Stuvan Vritim Chakapityam Duhritra Sayayo Purat. As Sukracharya listened to what had happened to Devayani, his mind was very much aggrieved, condemning the profession of priesthood and praising the profession of Unshabriti, collecting grains from the fields. He left home with his daughter. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When a Brahmin adopts the profession of kapota, or pigeon, he lives by collecting grains from the field. This is called Unksha Briti. A Brahmin who takes to this Unksha Briti profession is called first class because he depends completely on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and does not beg from anyone. Although the profession of begging is allowed for a Brahmin or sannyasi, one does better if he can avoid such a profession and completely depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for maintenance. Shukracharya was certainly very sorry that because of his daughter's complaint, he had to go to his disciple to beg some mercy, which he was obliged to do because he had accepted the profession of priesthood. In his heart, Shukracharya did not like his profession, but since he had accepted it, he was obliged to go unwillingly to his disciple to settle the grievance submitted by his daughter. Om Ajnantimidandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Tadamayam Tadaki Swapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutha Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajataham Sahakana Raghunathan Bitham Tham Sajivam Sadvaitam Sapadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahakana Lalita Sri Vishakan Bitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Bhakta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priyai Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are reading today from Canto 9 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 18, entitled King Yayati Regains His Youth. Text 24 and 25. We find in these verses Shukadeva Goswami and our beloved acharyas, specifically His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, who has given us these purports. They are extracting the essence of what will help the seed of bhakti to grow in all of our hearts from each of these verses. In today's context, without the purports, it sounds like a very mundane story. Something that you may buy at the newsstand in novels or see on some episode on television. We find a young girl with her friends going to take bath in a lake and enjoy together. There's Devayani, who's the daughter of Shukracharya, a great Brahmin. And there's Sarmishta, who is the daughter of a king, a powerful ruler. They have their assistants with them. They're joking and laughing and having so much fun. Then they go to put on their clothes, and Sharmishta accidentally starts putting Devayani's clothes, which was very, very humiliating to Devayani. Even though it was an accident, she didn't do it on purpose. And in this way, they started fighting over the false ego of their family prestige and all of this stuff. And they insulted each other, which is quite symptomatic of material existence. In friendship based on mutual enjoyment, any mistake made could transform people into enemies. Why so much divorce in the world today? Where there's apparent love and such a passionate will to be together that could turn into such hatred and anxiety and anguish. Because it's based on the bodily conception. I think I'm the enjoyer, and you think you're the enjoyer. I think I'm the controller and the proprietor, and you think you're the controller of proprietor. So whether it's husband and wife, or brothers and sisters, or sisters and sisters, or people of the same religion, or people of different religions, or people of the same nation or different nation, whatever the combination may be, as long as our relationships are based on these illusions, at any moment there could be a serious change, because material nature is always changing. Nothing remains constant. And by destiny, people make mistakes. So Krishna consciousness is teaching that when we develop our relationships based on the principle that Krishna is the enjoyer, Krishna is the controller, and Krishna is the proprietor, then nothing can impede our love and faithfulness toward each other. When we build our relationships on the basis of truth, it will withstand anything material nature or Maya can do. Otherwise, Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. Everything in this world, all our relationships in this world, everything is like drop of water on a lotus flower. The nature of material existence is like a lotus leaf. Nothing sticks to it very long. It's the nature of everything, all our relationship with our possessions, with our positions, with our relationships of people. It's all like this drop of water on a lotus leaf. And the problem is, material nature is constructed like a lotus leaf. It's not about you and me, it's about, that's the way material nature is created. But if we establish our own self on the basis of a higher principle, of spiritual truth, Nashato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate shata. Ubhayor abhidrishnontas tvanios tvatadarshami. The Gita says that the seers of truth, they have declared that what is non-permanent has no real existence, and what is real has no cessation. What is temporary is due to illusion. The truth is to understand everything's relationship with the eternal. So if we see everything in relation to Krishna, then we see everything according to its eternal essence. If we forget that, then we see everything according to this ever-changing phenomena of the world. And that's why Krishna tells that an enlightened person is not affected by dualities. Happiness, distress, pleasure, pain, success, failure, victory, defeat, honor, dishonor. These things are always coming. Like the winter and summer seasons, Krishna says. That one should learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. And how to tolerate these things without being disturbed? To fix our mind on what isn't subjected to the ever-changing existence of this world. Srila Prabhupada would often use the example of a high court judge during the time of of Gandhi's independence movement. And he was encouraging people, putting tremendous pressure on people, especially in big positions, to not work for the British government. Now this man was getting a huge salary. And if he didn't work for the British government, he would only get a little bit of money. But due to social pressures, he had to do it. And within a few months, he died. He couldn't live without the opulence and the power and the prestige that he had before. But then Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. They also worked for a very powerful government, and they were multi-billionaires, and they left it all to just wear simple kopans and sleep under trees in Vrindavan. But they didn't die. Rather, they were always absorbed in the highest ecstasies of the love of the gopis. So as long as we situate our happiness on the ever-changing experiences of this world, what is the quality of our happiness? It's like that drop of water on a lotus leaf. But the 6 Goswamis, everything totally changed for them, but they fixed their mind on Krishna. Therefore, they were the happiest people in the whole world. And there are many such examples. The story of the Avanta Brahman. He was quite a wealthy man, but in order to procure and maintain that wealth, in his own mind, he felt he had to be very harsh, and he misused people. And eventually, all his wealth was squandered and taken away by his own karma. He lost his agricultural fields, he lost his house. When he didn't have anything else, his family thought he was useless. His entire family rejected him and left him. And all his friends, because they were all ultimately using him for what he had, they all rejected him. And the whole society hated him. He suffered miserably. But in that misery, he became sober. He realized, what was all the stuff what was that happiness anyway that I was enjoying? It was all so temporary, and now look at my condition. So he took shelter of the Lord. He followed in the footsteps of great souls who sincerely took shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda. And in doing so, he became such an ecstatically liberated saint that even today we chant his prayers. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he took sannyas, the first thing he did is he started reciting prayers by this Avanti Brahmin. How is it? He was never so happy when he had everything. It's not about having or not having. Real happiness is in truth. And Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that when you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are part of me, and are in me, and are mine. This is truth. Our connection to God. When that is established, then we see everything in relationship to the truth. This world is not an illusion. The illusion is our misconception of our relationship with this world. I am this body. I am of a particular sex, a particular caste, a particular nationality. I have particular skills, and this is mine. And that this is yours. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. This is all misconception. But truth is, when we understand I'm an eternal soul, I'm part of Krishna, and my identity is Jivara Swarupoy Krishnara Nityadas, to serve Krishna. Therefore, let me use this precious body to serve Krishna. And my skills and my intelligence and all these things in this world. If somebody else has it, I celebrate that Krishna's given it to somebody else. There's no envy. And whatever I can get, I use it in the service of Krishna. I use it for the betterment of everyone. That's happiness. Whether we have little, whether we have lot. It's not important. If you're not happy with a little, you can never be happy with a lot. If we're not happy with the simple things, then however opulent and grandeur we create around our life, it cannot create a quality of happiness. A person could be very comfortably situated with beautiful furniture and nice home and security guards. But if the person's mind is agitated, what happiness is there? If someone feels betrayed or cheated by someone they love, they're so agitated and disturbed, what could it do? There are things beyond our powers. Recently I was in a museum in New York City, and it reminded me of an incident that over the years I've spoken about several times. One of the wealthiest people in all of America when I was a young boy. His son died a ghastly death. He was eaten alive, Hare Krishna, by cannibals in an island in the Pacific. And I was only 7, 8 years old, and I was just reading my father's newspaper or something like that. I don't remember how old, but I was little, and I remember this, one of the wealthiest people in the entire planet in those days. Still, there's so many things named after him. Worth billions of dollars. He said, with all my wealth, with all my power, with all my influence, I'll never find a day of happiness because my son is gone. And he had no control over that. It was a mistake. It was something that wasn't planned. It wasn't supposed to happen. But that is the nature of this world. Things are not stable here. So whoever we are, whatever we are, if we find happiness in the simple things of our relationships, and the ultimate happiness in the simple understanding that I'm an eternal soul, and all of you are eternal souls, and everyone is part of God, and Krishna is all attractive. When we take shelter of Krishna, it gives us stability in any situation. We can try as hard as we can to make the world a nice place, and we're supposed to do that. But Krishna tells us from the very beginning, Dukalayam ashashvatam. No matter how hard you try, whoever you are, especially in Kali Yuga, in Satya Yuga, there's some dimension of reality to making this world a really, really nice place to live. But then Hiranyakashipu was in Satya Yuga. And he terrorized everybody. He terrorized not only the world, the whole universe. Even the devas were terrorized by him. And that was Satya Yuga. What to speak of Kali Yuga? We're so vulnerable, we're so frail in so many ways. Adhyatmaka, Adidaivaka, Adibhotaka. Miseries caused by our own bodies and minds, mental distress and anxiety and disappointment, and I'm not getting what I want to get, and people are not treating me the way I want to be treated. Something's wrong. Or Adi Bhotika, miseries caused by other people. Or Adi Daivaka, too much heat, too much tsunamis, or cold, or earthquakes. And these things could strike at any moment. Here in Mumbai, we're on the coast. We don't know what's going to happen to the next minute. We're building our cities, we're building our empires. But we see what happened in Japan. It's definitely one of the most powerful, wealthy, influential, scientifically advanced countries in the entire planet. And it's very sad what happened. But who could have stopped it? Building a whole civilization on an earthquake zone. In California, a vast amount of the money of the whole planet is in California. That's a serious earthquake area. They're building Hollywood, they're building capitals of industries for the whole planet in that area. But geologists say at any moment, massive earthquakes could come. And it's not just about Japan and California. It's about every place in the material world. Arama bhuvana loka punar avartanorjana mamupetya konteya punar janmana vidyate. Wherever we may be, we just don't know. Adi Daivaka. Padam padam yadvi padam natesham. There is danger at every step. And dukalayam ashashvatam. Krishna says the entire material existence, everything is temporary. Any situation could make you miserable. Now we may have our opinion, but Krishna is the creator. And Bhagavad Gita is like the instruction guide of the creation. He's telling us exactly how it works. Not only how it could work, but how it will work. But we're not meant to be pessimistic and depressed. Why am I in this miserable world? The world's not miserable. The world is what it is. There's nothing miserable about the world. The misery is when we misidentify with this world. Everything's relative. It's like tonight there's a big cricket match. Now, if India wins, secretly, I'm sure you'll all be really happy. Some maybe not secretly. I will not be secret about it. Personally, I will be very happy. But if they lose, I won't be unhappy either. Because this winning, losing, it's all the dualities of material existence. So if one team wins, somebody's going to suffer and somebody's going to be happy. Isn't that the way the world is? Yes? If Sri Lanka wins, Sri Lanka will be dancing in joy. Who knows? Ravana may come back to celebrate. And if India wins, Ram Navami will be celebrated with great enthusiasm. So somebody is guaranteed to suffer and somebody's guaranteed to be happy. Who's going to get which one, we'll know in a few hours. But it's the nature of the world that in order to be happy in material life, usually somebody else is unhappy. Yes? If your business makes a lot of money, you're happy, but probably some other business is making less money because of you. Yes? So everything's dualities, relative. But we're living in this relative dualities. We can't deny that. We have to perform our duties. We have to do, and we have our connections. But above and beyond it, to see everything in perspective of the truth. That there is a reality that is unchanging. There is a reality that is eternal. And within that eternal realm is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. There is full awareness and full happiness. That is in Krishna. Otherwise, little mistakes could create such disasters that we're talking about it 1,000,000 years later. That's what we're reading about today. Sharmishta accidentally put on a piece of Devayani's clothes. So what? It's a piece of clothes. Who cares? What? But when you get caught up in the bodily, when you get caught up in this false ego, things that don't mean anything become so important. And for a sadhu, everything that everyone's fighting over in this world, it's like this. I mean, who cares? It's just a piece of clothes. It's just a piece of paper. It's just a title. People fighting over positions, fighting over power, fighting over wealth, fighting over so many things. But for a sadhu, it's all useless, stupid stuff that's not worth anything? And why are we hating each other over it? Why are we fighting and scheming in such ways to hurt others over such stuff? But it's the reality of the world. And this is a very cultured daughter of a king and a powerful woman who's the daughter of Shukracharya, a great Brahmin. Hare Krishna. And Devayani says to Sarmishta, how dare you put on my clothes? This is an aparad to the Brahmin community. It's like a dog, like a jackal wanting to eat the sacrificial ghee that is meant for the sacrifice of Vishnu. And Sharmishta, she was so insulted by this. Who was she insulted? She became outraged and said to Devayani that you Brahmins are just a bunch of beggars. You're totally depending on us Kshatriyas. You're like crows just sitting in front of our house looking for scraps that we throw you. Well, today I'm going to throw you. And she picked up Devayani and threw her in a well. And walked away with all the friends, all the maidservants. And here's Devayani, all alone, totally naked, in the bottom of a well. Hare Krishna. Such a turn of events. But then another turn of event happened. King Yayati happened to be on an excursion, and by the will of nature, he became thirsty for water. And he saw a well. And he went to get water, and he saw this beautiful, undressed Brahmin lady in the blooming peak of her youth. And what is he supposed to do? King is supposed to be giving protection to everybody. So he took off his cloth and threw it down to her. She wrapped it around her body, and he reached down his hand and somehow pulled her up. And that was it. He found her in a well. And ultimately things worked out well, but not... but there was some mysterious changes and turns in destiny. So Devayani, I want to marry you. You have saved me. I have been touched by you. Now, I'm meant to marry a Kshatriya, so please marry me. And he said, I'll give you shelter. And Shukracharya agreed to the proposal. But here, Devayani tells her father in this verse what Sharmishta did to him. He was outraged. It was not only an insult to his daughter, it was an insult to him, it was an insult to the whole Brahmin community. And he must get revenge. Hare Krishna. So he took his daughter and marched off to Sharmishta's father. And here, Shukracharya, it describes, as he listened to what happened to Devayani, his mind was very much aggrieved. He didn't plan it this way. It's the nature of the world. He's a Brahmin doing his puja and his mantra, yantra, tantra, puja, mudra. He's doing all of these things, and he's just doing his worship of the Supreme Lord and doing his duties. And his daughter comes with this news. So here he is, very much aggrieved, condemning the profession of priesthood and praising the profession of Unchabriti, collecting grains from the fields, he left home with his daughter. Because the king, who was the father of Sarmishta, was Sukracharya's disciple. And here he's condemning being a priest because you have to have disciples like this. And you have to deal with them. And you have to protect the integrity of what you represent. Yes, very, very difficult. And he's praising those Brahmins who don't have anything. They just go into the fields and they totally depend on Krishna's mercy in every way. So what's about to happen, I will save that story for the future people who give class. But essentially, Shukracharya is when Vrishaparva, the king who is the father of Sarmishta, when he hears what happened and he sees Shukracharya coming to him, he knows that Shukracharya's curses will be the condemnation and the end of everything in his life and his dynasty. So he had to somehow pacify him. And here's this king just minding his own business, and Shukracharya, and all the problems are happening because of their daughters who they have no control over. Yes? Here's a guru and a disciple who are nice relationship, and all of a sudden, because of their daughters, this is happening to them. They didn't do anything wrong, except they had 2 daughters. That's not in itself wrong. That's a very nice thing, but nice things go wrong because it's the nature of this world and the nature of ego. And how they're both being so totally affected by this mistake of their daughters. And Shukracharya is condemning his position as a guru and a priest because this is happening and he has to deal with this. And meanwhile, the king understands he's about to be destroyed by a Brahman's curse. So the king runs out and falls at Shukracharya's feet and serves him so nicely. I'm your obedient servant. I'll do anything for you, whatever you like. Just tell me what you want. And Shukracharya, all right, you've surrendered. I will give you shelter. But your daughter has to be my daughter's maidservant for the rest of her life. Hari Hari. And of course he agreed. He didn't really have any choice. But trying to make a Kshatriya princess a maidservant, it doesn't last long. It's just not their nature. And that's exactly what we're going to find is happening. You know, she's living as the maidservant of Devayani in the palace of Yayati. So it would make a great television series. In fact, my estimation is most of the television series and Hollywood, Bollywood movies are basically emanating from this story. If only they could come to the same conclusion at the end, then the whole world would be enlightened. So here, eventually everybody becomes pure devotees. Because in the end, ultimately, everybody learns from their mistakes and everybody takes shelter of the Lord because they realize that everything is just beyond them and they take shelter. But here, Srila Prabhupada is extracting this essential message that most of us would not find just by reading the translation. The importance of how peaceful and easy life is if one is completely depending on the mercy of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada says Shukracharya was certainly very sorry that because of his daughter's complaint he had to go to his disciple to beg some mercy, which he was obliged to do because he had accepted the profession of priesthood. And Srila Prabhupada writes that if we can avoid such a profession and completely depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for maintenance, to the degree that we actually depend on the mercy of the Lord, we can take shelter of the Lord. Without that sense of dependence, our taking shelter is superficial, artificial, and incomplete. Rupa Goswami explains that one of the primary qualities of surrender is to understand that we are completely dependent on Krishna for everything. And usually it's in difficult situations that we recognize that. Because our tendency is we think, yes, I'm a devotee, but still our conditioning of being the enjoyer, the controller, and the proprietor is there. But when things really go the wrong way, we have a choice. Either it could exasperate our desire to be the enjoyer, the controller, and the proprietor, and completely, totally blind us, even as devotees, trying to defend, trying to make things right according to our expectations. Or we could realize that things are really beyond my control. They always have been, they always will be. Some things are within our control, but ultimately the only thing that's within our control is, are we going to take shelter of the Lord or not? Because however big you build things up, if an earthquake happens right under you, what is under your control? And the reality is, there's different varieties of earthquakes and could happen at any time.